vidmahe Shiva Tattvaya Dhimahi Tanno Mohan Prachodayat. Om Para Brahmaya Vidmahe Shiva Tattvaya Dhimahi Tanno Mohan Prachodayat. Om Para Brahmaya Vidmahe Shiva Tattvaya Dhimahi Tanno Mohan Prachodayat. Om Gam Ganeshaya Namah. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityo Mukshamamrita. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityo Mukshamamrita. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityo Mukshamamrita. Om Harlim Baglam Kyum Fat Swaha. Om Harlim Baglam Kyum Fat Swaha. Om Harlim Baglam Kyum Fat Swaha. Om Shri Gurudeva Datta. Om Shri Gurudeva Datta. Om Shri Gurudeva Datta. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Para Brahmane Namah. Om Para Brahmane Namah. Om Para Brahmane Namah. Om Para Brahmaya Vidmahe Shiva Tattvaya Dhimahi Tanno Mohan Prachodayat. Jai Mohanji, my name is Keegan, representing the Dattapavan Ashram. Today I will be reading you chapters 3 and 4 of the Sai Sat Charitra. Chapter 3, Sai Baba's Sanction and Promise, Assignment of Work to Devotees, Baba's Stories as Beacon, Light, His Motherly Love, Rohila's Story, His Sweet Nectar like Words. Sai Baba's Sanction and Promise. As described in the previous chapter, Sai Baba gave his complete assent to the writing of the Sai Sat Charitra and said, I fully agree with you regarding the writing of the Sat Charitra. You do your duty. Don't be afraid in the least. Steady your mind and have faith in my words. If my Leelas are written, the avidyas will vanish, and if they attentively and devotedly listen to, the consciousness of the worldly existence will abate, and the strong waves of devotion and love will rise up. And if one dives deep into my Leelas, he would get precious jewels of knowledge. Hence this author was much pleased, and he at once became fearless and confident, and thought that work was bound to be a success. Then turning to Shama, Sai Baba said, If a man utters my name with love, I shall fulfill all his wishes, increase his devotion, and if he sings earnestly my life and my deeds, him I shall beset in front and back and on all sides. Those devotees who are attached to me, heart and soul, will naturally feel happiness when they hear these stories. Believe me that if anybody sings my Leelas, I will give him infinite joy and everlasting contentment. It is my special characteristic to free any person who surrenders completely to me, and who does worship me faithfully, and who remembers me and meditates on me constantly. How can they be conscious of worldly objections and sensations who utter my name, who worship me, who think of my stories and my life, and who thus always remember me? I shall draw out my devotees from the jaws of death. If my stories are listened to, all the diseases will get rid of. So hear my stories with respect and think and meditate on them, assimilate them. This is the way of happiness and contentment. The pride of egoism of my devotees will vanish. The mind of their hearers will be set at rest, and if it has wholehearted and complete faith, it will be one of supreme consciousness. The simple remembrance of my name, Sai Sai, will do away with sins of speech and hearing. Different works assigned to devotees. The Lord entrusts different works to different devotees. Some are given the work of building temples and mats or ghats on rivers. Some are made to sing the glories of God. Some are sent on pilgrimages. But to me was allotted the work of writing the Satcharitra. Being a jack of all trades but master of none, I was quite unqualified for this job. Then why should I undertake such a difficult job? Who can describe the true life of Sai Baba? Sai Baba's grace alone can enable one to accomplish this difficult work. So when I took up the pen in my hand, Sai Baba took away my egoism and wrote himself his stories. The credit of relating these stories therefore goes to him and not to me. Though Brahmin by birth, I lacked the two eyes of Shruti and Smriti, and therefore was not at all capable of writing the Satcharitra. But the grace of the Lord makes a dumb man talk, enables a lame man to cross a mountain. He alone knows the knack of getting things done as he likes. Neither the flute nor the harmonium knows the sounds are produced. This is the concern of the player. The oozing of the Chandra jewel and the surging of the sea are not due to the jewel and the sea but the rise of the moon. Baba's story as a beacon of light. Lighthouses are constructed at various places in the sea to enable boatmen to avoid rocks and dangers and make them sail safely. Sai Baba stories serve a similar purpose in the ocean of worldly existence. They surpass nectar in sweetness and make our worldly path smooth and easy to traverse. Blessed are the stories of the saints. When they enter our hearts through the ears, the body, consciousness or egoism, and the sense of duality vanish. And when they are stored in the heart, doubts fly out to all sides. Pride of the body will fall, and wisdom will be stored in abundance. The description of Baba's pure fame and the hearing of the same with love will destroy the sins of the devotees, and therefore this is a simple sadhana for attaining salvation. The sadhana of Krita age was Shamadama for Trita age, sacrifice for Dwapara worship, and for Kali age. It is singing the name and glory of the Lord. This is last sadhana open to all people of the four varnas. The other sadhanas, yoga, yagya, dhyana, and dharana, are very difficult to practice. But singing and hearing the stories and the glory of the Lord is very easy. We only turn our attention towards them. The listening and the singing of the stories will remove the attachment to the senses and their objects, and will make the devotees dispassionate, and will ultimately lead them to self-realization. With this end in view, Sai Baba made me or helped me to write his stories. Charitra. The devotees may now easily read and hear those stories of Sai Baba, and while doing so, meditate on him, his form, and thus attain devotion to Guru and God, get detachment and self realization. In the preparation of writing this work, Sacharitra, it is Sai Baba's grace which has accomplished everything, making use of me as a mere instrument. Motherly love of Sai Baba. Everybody knows how a cow loves her infant calf. Her udder is always full. When the calf wants milk and dashes at the udder, out comes the milk in an uneasing flow. Similarly, a human mother knows the wants of her child and feeds it at her breast in time. In case of dressing and adorning the children, the mother takes particular care to see that this is well done. The child knows or cares nothing about this, but the mother's joy knows no bounds. When she sees her child beautifully dressed and adorned, the love of mother is peculiar, extraordinary, and disinterested, and has no parallel. Satgurus feel this motherly love towards their disciples. Sai Baba had the same love towards me, and I gave an instance of it below. In 1916 AD, I retired from government service. The pension was settled in my case was not sufficient to maintain my family decently. On Guru Purnama, 15th of Ashada, day of that year, I went to Shirdi with the other devotees. Then Mr. Anand Chinchanikar, of his own accord, prayed to Baba for me as follows. Please look kindly on him. The pension he gets is quite insufficient. His family is growing. Give him some other appointment, remove his anxiety, and make him happy. Baba replied, "You will get some other job, but now he should serve me and be happy. His dishes will be ever full and never empty. He should turn all his attention towards me and avoid the company of atheists, irreligious, and wicked people. He should be meek and humble towards all and worship me, heart and soul. If he does this, he will get eternal happiness." The question, who is this he? Who worship is advocated, is already answered in a note on who is Sai Baba, in a prologue at the beginning of this work. Rohila's story. The story of Rohila illustrates Sai Baba's all-embracing love. One Rohila, tall and well-built, strong as a bull, came to Shirdi wearing a long kafni and was enamored of Sai, who stayed there. Day and night he used to recite in loud and harsh tone, Kalma, and shout, Allahu Akbar, God is great. Most people of Shirdi were working in the fields by day, and when they returned in their homes at night, they were welcomed with the Rohila's harsh cries and shouts. They could not sleep and felt much trouble and inconvenience. They suffered in silence this nuisance for some days, and when they could stand it no longer, they approached Baba and requested him to check the Rohila and stop the nonsense. Baba did not attend to their complaint. On the contrary, Baba took the villagers to task and asked them to mind their own business and not the Rohila. He said to them that the Rohila had got a very bad wife, and Zantipi, who tried to come in and trouble the Rohila and himself. But hearing the Rohila's prayers, she dared not enter, and they were at peace and happy. In fact, the Rohila had no wife, and by his wife, Baba meant Durbudi, bad thoughts. As Baba liked prayers and cries to God better than anything else, he took the side of the Rohila and asked the villagers to wait and suffer the nuisance, which would abate in due course. Baba's sweet and nectar-like words. One day at noon, after Aarti, devotees returning to their lodging when Baba gave the following beautiful advice. Be wherever you like, do whatever you choose. Remember this well that all what you do is known to me. I am the inner ruler of all and seated in their hearts. I envelop all the creatures, the movable and immovable world. I am the controller, the wire puller of the show of this universe. I am the mother, origin of all beings, the harmony of the three gunas, the propeller of all senses, the creator, preserver, and destroyer. Nothing will harm him who turns his attentions towards me, but Maya will lash over him who forgets me. All the insects, ants, the visible, movable, and immovable world is my body and or form. Hearing these beautiful and precious words, I at once decided in my mind to serve no man henceforth, but my Guru only. But the reply of Baba to Anachinchanikar queries that I would get some job began to revolve in my mind, and I began to think whether it would come to happen. As future events showed, Baba's words come true, and I got a government job. But that was a short duration. Then I became free and solely devoted myself to the service of my Guru, Sai Baba. Before concluding this chapter, I request the readers to leave out the various hindrances, indolence, sleep, wandering of mind, attachments to senses, and turn their whole and undivided attention to the stories of Sai Baba. Let their love be natural. Let them know the secret of devotion. Let them not exhaust themselves by other sadhanas. Let them stick to this one simple remedy, listening to Sai Baba's stories. This will destroy their ignorance and will secure for them salvation. A misery may stay at various places, but he always thinks of his buried treasure. So let Sai Baba be enthroned in the hearts of all. In the next chapter, I shall speak of Sai Baba's advent in Shirdi. Chapter 4, Sai Baba's first advent in Shirdi. Mission of the Saints. Shirdi, a holy tirth, personality of Sai Baba, dictum of Golambova, appearance of Vital, Krisagar's story, Dasguna's bath in Prayag, Immaculate Conception of Sai Baba, and his first advent in Shirdi. Three Vadas. In the last chapter, I described the circumstances which led me to write Sai Sat Charitra. Let me now describe the first advent of Sai Baba in Shirdi. Mission of the Saints. Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that wherever there is a decay of dharma and as ascendancy of unrighteousness, I manifest myself, and for the protection of virtuous, the destruction of the vicious, and for the establishment of righteousness, I manifest myself in age after age. This is the mission of Lord and the sages and saints, who are his representatives and who appear here at proper times, up in their own way to fulfill that mission. For instance, when the twice born, the Brahmins, the Kshatriyas, and the Vaishyas neglect their duties, and when the Shudras try to usurp the rights of the higher classes, when spiritual preceptors are not respected but humiliated, when nobody cares for religious instructions, when everybody thinks himself very learned, when people begin to partake of forbidden foods and intoxicating drinks, when under the cloak of religion people indulge in malpractices, when people belonging to different sects fight amongst themselves, when Brahmins fail to do sadhya adoration and the orthodox their religious practices, when the yogis neglect their meditation, when the people begin to think that wealth, progeny, wife are their sole concern, and thus turn away from the true path of salvation. Then do the saints appear and try to set matters right by their own words and actions. They serve us as beacons of light and show us the right path and the right path for us to follow. In this way, many saints, Nivritti, Yanadev, Muktabi, Namdev, Gora, Gunai, Ekanath, Tukaram, Narahi, Nasri, Bai, Sajan Kasai, Sawata, Ramdas, and various others appear at various times to show the right path to the people, and so presently came Shirdi Sai Baba of Shirdi. Shirdi, a holy Tat. The banks of the Godavari River in the Ahmednagar district are very fortunate, for they gave birth and refuge to many a saint. Prominent among them began Naneshwara. Shirdi also falls in the Kopargon Taluka of Ahmednagar district. After crossing the Godavari River of Kopargaon, one gets the way to Shirdi. When you go 3 course, you come to Nimagon, from whence Shirdi is visible. Shirdi is as famous and well known as the holy places like Gangapur, Narsindhavadi, Odambar on the banks of Krishna River. As the devotees, Damaji flourished in and blessed Mangal Veda as Samartha Ramdas at Sajankat, as Sri Narasimha Saraswati at Saraswati Wadi, as Sainath flourished at Shirdi and blessed it. Personality of Sai Baba. It is on account of Sai Baba that Shirdi grew into importance. Let us see what sort of personage Sai Baba was. He conquered the samsar, which is very difficult and hard to cross. Peace on mental calm was his ornament, and he was repository of wisdom. He was the home of Vaishnava devotees, most liberal among liberals, the quintessence of all essence. He had no love for perishable things, and was always engrossed in self-realization, which was his sole concern. He felt no pleasure in the things of the world or of the world beyond. His antarang was as clear as a mirror, and his speech was always rain nectar. This rich or poor people were the same to him. He did not know or care for honor or dishonor. He was the Lord of all beings. He spoke freely and mixed with all people, saw the actings and dances of Nach girls, and heard Gajal songs. Still, he served not an inch from Samadhi, the name of Allah always on his lips. While the whole world awoke, he slept, and while the world slept, he was vigilant. His abodement was as calm as the deep sea. His ashram could not be determined, nor his actions could be definitely determined, and though he sat in one piece, he knew all the transactions of the world. His dabar was imposing. He told daily hundreds of stories. He still he still swerved not an inch from his vow of silence. He always leaned against the wall in his masjid, or walked morning, noon, and evening towards Lendi and Javadi. Still he sat at all times, abided in the self. Though a Siddha, he acted like a Sadhaka. He was meek, humble, and egoless, and pleased all. Such was Sai Baba. And as Sai Baba's feet trended the, the soil of Shirdi, it attained extraordinary importance. As Naneshwar alleviated Alandi Ekanath did to Python, so Sai Baba raised Shirdi. Blessed are the grass leaves and stones of Shirdi, for they could easily kiss the holy feet of Sai Baba and take their dust on their head. Shirdi became to us, devotees, another Padharpur, Jagannath, Dwarka, Banaras, and Rameshwar, Padrik, Kedar, Nasik, Triambakeshwar, Ujjain, and Mahakaleshwar, O Mahabaleshwar Kokar. Contact of Sai Baba in Shirdi was like our Veda and Tantra. It quietened our samsar and rendered self-realization easy. The darshana of Sri Sai was our yoga sadhana, and talk with him removed our sins. Shampooing his legs was our bath in Triveni Prayag, and drinking the holy water at of his feet destroyed our desires. To us, his commands were Vedas, and accepting his Udi and Prasad was all purifying. He was our Sri Krishna and Sri Rama, who gave us solace, and he was our Parabrahma. He was himself beyond the pair of Dwadas, never dejected nor elated. He was always engrossed in his self as existence, knowledge, and bliss. Shirdi was his center, but his field of action extended far wider to Punjab, Calcutta, North India, Gujarat, Dhaka, and Konkan. Thus, the fame of Sai Baba spread far and wide, and people from all parts of the world came to take his darshan and be blessed. By mere darshan, minds of people, whether pure or impure, would become at once quiet. They got here the same sort of unparalleled joy that devotees get at Padharpur by seeing Vital Rakhume. This is not an exaggeration. Consider what a devotee says in this respect. Tikam of Goli Buva. An old devotee by name Goli Buva, aged about 95, was a Varkari of Pandhari. He stayed 8 months in Pandharpur and 4 months Ashada to Kartik on the banks of the Ganges. He had an ass with him for carrying his luggage and a disciple as his companion. Every year he made his Vari or trip to the Padarpur and came to Siddhi to see Sai Baba, whom he loved most. He used to stare at Baba and say, "This is Padharinath, Vital incarnate, the merciful Lord of the poor and helpless." This Goli Buva was an old devotee of Bithoba and had made many a trip to Padhari, and he testified that Sai Baba was real Padharinath. Vital himself appeared. Sai Baba was very fond of remembering and singing God's name. He always uttered Allah Malik, and in his presence made others sing God's name consciously, continuously, day and night, for 7 days. This is called Namasapata. Once he asked Dasguna Maharaj to do the Namasapta. He replied that he would do it, provided he was assured that Vital would appear at the end of the 7th day. Then Baba, placing his hand on his breast, assured him that certainly Vital would appear, but that the devotee must be earnest and devout. The Dankapuri of Takurnath, the Padhari of Vital, the Dwarka of Ranchad is here. One need not go far out to see Dwarka. Will Vital come here from some other place, some outside place? He is here. Only when the devotee is bursting with love and devotion, Vital would manifest himself here. After the Sapta was over, Vital did manifest himself in the following manner. Kaka Sahib Dikshit was as usual sitting in meditation after the bath, and he saw Vital in a vision. When he went at noon for Baba's darshan, Baba asked him point blank, "Did Vital Patel come? Did you see him? He is a very truant fellow. Catch him firmly, otherwise he will escape. If you be a little inattentive." This happened in the morning, and at noon there was another Vital darshan. One hawker from outside came there for selling 25 or 30 pictures of Vithoba. This picture exactly tailed with the figure that appeared in Kaka Sahib's vision. On seeing this and remembering Baba's words, Kaka Sahib Dikshit was much surprised and delighted. He bought one picture of Vithoba and placed it in his shrine of worship. Bhagwantro Kisarga's story. How fond was Baba for Vital's worship was illustrated in Bhagwantro Kisarga's story. The father of Bhagwantra was a devotee of Vithoba and used to make various annual trips to Padarpur. He also had an image of Vithoba at home, which he worshipped. After his death, the son stopped everything, the Vari, the worship, and Shraddha ceremony. When Bhagavantro came to Siddhi, Baba, on remembering his father, at once said, "His father was my friend, so I dragged him here. He never offered Navidya, and so he starved Vital and me. So I brought him here. I shall remonstrate him now and set him to worship." Das Guna's bath in Prayag. The Hindus think that a bath in the holy Tirth of Prayag, where the Ganga and Yamuna meet, is very meritorious, and thousands of pilgrims go there at periodical times to have the sacred bath there. Once Dasguna thought that he should go to Prayag for a bath and came to Baba to get his permission for doing so. Baba replied to him, "It is not necessary to go so long. Our Prayag is here, believe me." Then wonder of wonders. When Dasguna placed his head on Baba's feet, out came or flowed streams of Ganga, Yamuna water from both the toes of Baba. Seeing this miracle, Dasguna was overwhelmed with feeling of love and adoration and was full of tears. Inwardly, he felt inspired, and his speech burst forth into a song in praise of Baba and his Leela. Immaculate Conception of Sai Baba and his first advent in Shirdi. Nobody knew the parents or birthplace of Sai Baba. Many inquiries were made, many questions were put to Baba, and others regarding these items, but no satisfactory answer or information has yet been obtained. Practically, we know nothing about these matters. Namdev and Kabir were not born like ordinary mortals. They were found as infants in the mother of pearls. Namdev being found on the bank of Bhimrati River by Gonai, and Kabir on the bank of Bhagirathi River by Tamal. Similarly was the case of Sai Baba. He first manifested himself as a young lad of 16 under a neem tree in Shirdi for the sake of Bhaktas. Even then, he seemed to be full with knowledge of Brahman. He had no desire of worldly objections. Even then, he had no worldly objections. He kicked out Maya and Mukti, was serving at his feet. One old woman of Shridhi, the mother of Nana Chopdar, described him thus: "This young lad, fair, smart, and very handsome, was first seen under the neem tree, seated in an asan. The people of the village were wonderstruck to see such a young lad practicing hard penance, not minding heat and cold. By day he associated with none, by night he was afraid of nobody. People were wondering and asking whence this young chap had turned up. His form and features were so beautiful that the mere look endeared him to all. He went to nobody's door, always sat near the neem tree. Outwardly he looked very young, but by his actions he was really a great soul. He was the embodiment of dispassion and was an enigma to all. One day it so happened that god Kandova possessed the body of some devotee, and people began to ask him, "Deva, you please inquire, what blessed father's son is this lad, and whence did he come?" God Kandova asked them to bring a pickaxe and dig in a particular place. When it was dug, bricks were found underneath a flat stone. When the stones were removed, a corridor led to a cellar where a cow mouth shaped structures, wooden boards, necklaces were seen. Kandoba said, "This lad practiced penance here for 12 years. Then the people began to question the lad about this. He put them off the scent by telling them it was his guru's place, his holy Vatan, and requested them to guard it well. The people then closed the corridor as before. As Ashwatha and Odubar trees were held sacred, Baba regarded this neem tree equally sacred and loved it most. Ma- Malasapati and other Siddhi devotees regard this site as the resting place, Samadhi, Santa, of Baba's Guru, and prostrate before it. Three Vadas. The site with the neem tree and surrounding space was bought by Mr. Hari Vinayak Sati, and on this site a big building style Sati's Wada was erected. This Wada was the sole resting place for pilgrims who flocked there. A pa was built round the neem tree, and the lofts with the steps were constructed. Under the steps there is a niche facing south, and devotees sit on the par facing north. It is believed that he who burns incense there on Thursdays and Friday evenings will, by God's grace, be happy. This Wada was an old and dilapidated and wanted repairs. The Sansthan has made the necessary repairs, additions, and alterations now. Then, after some years, another Wada, Dikshit's Wada, was constructed. Kaka Sahib, solicitor of Bombay, had gone to England. He had injured his leg by an accident there. The injury could not be got rid of by any means. Nana Sahib Chandrakar advised him to try Sai Baba. So he saw Sai Baba in 1909 AD and requested him to cure rather the lameness of his mind than that of his leg. He was so much pleased with the darshana of Sai Baba that he decided to reside in Shirdi. So he built a wada for himself and other devotees. The foundation of this building was laid on 10/12/1910. On this day, the two other important events took place. Mr. Dadasaheb Karpade was given permission to return home, and the night arti in Chavadi was commenced. The Wada was completed and was inhabited on the Ramanavami day in 1911 AD with due rites and formalities. Then another Wada or palatial mansion was put up by the famous millionaire Mr. Booty of Nagpur. Lots of money was spent on this building, but the entire amount was well utilized as Sai Baba's body is resting in this wada, which is now called the Samadhi Mandir. The site of this mandir had formerly a garden, which was watered and looked after by Baba. Three wadas thus sprung up, where there was none formerly. Of these, Sati's wada was the most useful to all in the early days. The story of the garden, attended by Sai Baba, with the help of Vaman Tatya, the temporary absence of Sai Baba from Shirdi, and his coming again to Shirdi, with the marriage party of Chand Patel, the company of David Das, Janki Das, and Gangagir, Baba's wrestling match with Modin Tambuli, residence in Masjid, love of Mr. Dengue, and other devotees and other incidents will be described in the next chapter. Thank you.
ॐ पराब्रह्माय विद्महे शिवातत्त्वाय धीमहि तन्नो मोहन प्रचोदयात्। ॐ पराब्रह्माय विद्महे शिवातत्त्वाय धीमहि तन्नो मोहन प्रचोदयात्। ॐ पराब्रह्माय विद्महे शिवातत्त्वाय धीमहि तन्नो मोहन प्रचोदयात्।